Good evening, class. This video is going to cover the sample Word exam for the upcoming Microsoft Office Word test that you'll be taking here in the next few days. I highly recommend for this course always reviewing and attempting the sample exams. The sample exams are located on the menu on the left-hand side of the screen. Under sample exams, and you'll see that there's one for Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Access. So I'm going to cover the Word exam, and this will be similar to the exam that you'll have in class. It won't be identical, but you should get a fair understanding or pretty good idea of what the test will be like. So there's three files. There's a data file called Word Data 1, sample Word test doc. That's going to be your instruction file. Excuse me. And then the Darrell State motto will be a file that you'll take some text from and insert into your data file. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I've got the three files open below. The sample Word test, which you can see on the screen here, the Word data file, and then the state motto file. So first thing we're going to do is take a look at our test instructions. Let's see, and I always recommend reading through the instructions completely first before beginning the test, just to make sure that you understand completely what's being asked of you. So I won't do that for this particular exercise. I'll let you guys do that on your own when you try to attempt the sample test yourself, but I do recommend that you do read the instructions all the way through first. Alright, so number one, download the Word Data 1 file from the website. This website would be Blackboard, actually. So we're going to download that from where I just indicated. Let's see, sample exams. And I'll go ahead and correct this now. Okay, I had to pause there for a second. So we've got our sample files, our sample exam files downloaded already. Number two, we're going to insert name, date, and page number, right, justified using a header, 4 points. So we're going to take our data file. Let's see, let's make this view 100%. And we're going to insert, on the Insert tab, a header right here. Let's see, actually probably the best way to do this is a page number, top of the page, right aligned, and then from that point you can enter, let's see, we said name, date, and page number. Alright, so we have some functions for date and time. I would put September 13th, 2015. That's the day I'm using this video. I'd hit enter again. Actually, let me back that out. Now, here we go. You get the cursor in the correct position and then type in your name. Alright, so that's what your header should look like. First name, last name, date, page number. Page number will be at the top of every page along with your header. When you're done, you can click close the header and footer button, and it'll take you back to your normal page layout editing view. Alright, so that's number two. So we're good on number two. Alright, so we're done with that. The next series of tasks will require editing some of the text in the document. The instructions are found in the text boxes, the text that's outlined with a box. So make sure to follow those instructions. Alright, so let's see. First, we're going to follow the text in this box. It says move this section. Shelton announces new program for marriage counseling to here. So what that means is on your data file, you're going to find this paragraph, Shelton announces new program for marriage counseling, and move it from wherever it currently is to the location which makes it the second paragraph in the document. Alright, so you can either scroll through the document and find it like I did here, or you can do a Control F and type in a portion of that title and find it. So now I have highlighted that paragraph and I want to move it. So there's a couple ways you can do that. You can click and drag, holding down the left mouse key. Click to the left, hold down the mouse key and drag down. Or you can use the Shift key, click to the left of Shelton, hold down the Shift key, and click to the right of the last word in the paragraph, and that'll do the same thing. So either or. Now, as for moving the text, you can do one of two ways. You can click and drag the text, like so, and you can see it placed it in there, and we're going to put a couple of hard returns in there to dress up our paragraph the way it should. Or you can cut the text, and by cutting the text, once you have the paragraph highlighted like so, you can use a right click and use the cut feature. You can also use a keyboard shortcut, which is a Control and an X at the same time. So now we've cut the text. I'm going to go up here, add a couple of spaces, and Control V will paste the text, or you can right click and select paste and it'll do the same thing. Either or. There's a couple ways. As you'll find, there's usually more than one way to perform a function in Microsoft Office. So now we've relocated that block of text, so we're done with this task. The next task says change to Shelton State. So in your data file where you see the word Shelton, we're going to change that to Shelton State in that header. So let's flip back over to our data file. Shelton State. Alright, so we've completed that task. And we'll scroll down, look for the next set of instructions. Let's see. Insert this section here. And the section that it's referring to is Shelton appoints Daryl head of the music department. And it has one sentence that they want us to include. So let's look at our data file. I don't believe, let's double check, but I believe that we need to type that in. Okay. So let's flip back over to our instruction sheet. Shelton appoints Daryl to head of music department. Instead of typing, we can Control Copy, which is a Control C, or you can right click and copy that text, and we're going to place it after the paragraph that has the heading Shelton to open branch campus in space. So let's flip back over to our data file. Shelton to open branch campus in space. So that's the paragraph we're going to place that new section of text, or that new paragraph of text, into our data file, and we're going to paste it. Right click, paste. So now we've got that new paragraph of text in our data file. Okay, and I did that by just copying and pasting from the instruction sheet. Excuse me. That's perfectly fine to do. You can either type it in or you can copy and paste it. You know, the point of Microsoft Office is it's a productivity software suite, so copying and pasting is fine. Alright, let's see. Our next task is to delete the word Express out of the heading Shelton State builds Express ramp into campus. So let's flip over, find our Express ramp header, which is here, and we're going to delete Express. So to do that, you want to highlight the word Express. That's one way to do it, and you can do that by double clicking and pressing the delete key. Or you can always put your cursor, I'll undo what I just did to demonstrate another method of deleting a word, to the right of a word or text, block of text, and press delete until you remove that word. Either way is acceptable, as long as the word is deleted. Okay. Let's see, our next set of instruction. Delete this section 5 points. So they're asking us to delete the section Shelton appoints Daryl head of telephone services. So let's flip over, find our section that says Shelton appoints Daryl head of telephone services. I want to remove that section of text, so I'm going to click and drag, holding my left mouse button down, highlight that paragraph, and just press delete. And it's gone. Simple enough. Alright, let's see. The next set of instructions, insert the following table and auto format the table in style colorful1. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert this table. Now this table has 2 columns, 4 rows. So I see 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, 4 rows. So we're going to insert a table and type in this text. So let's flip over, and that needs to go underneath the paragraph. Daryl begins electrical program. So let's go back to our data file. I'm going to insert a blank line, and then we're going to insert a table, and we want 2 columns, 4 rows. So there's our 2 columns and 4 rows. So now we're going to type in name and phone number as the heading. If we can get that spelled correctly. I'm going to flip back over. We want Les Witt, 391-2344. So Witt, Les, 391, whoops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. We're going to tab down to the next spot. We're going to put in more Witt, and then 391-2455. So more dash Witt L dot T dot 391 dash 2455. Tab to the next cell, and then the last one is your name and 555-1212. So last name first, 555-1212, and there's our table. Now we want to format it. So to format it, you click the table, and you should get the box with the crosshairs right there, that box right there. You select that, and then you will see the contextual tab up here that has for the table, that's only available when the table is selected. You'll see 2 tabs, design and layout. So we're going to go to design, and we're going to look for colorful1. Now I will say that sometimes the style that you're looking for, or the styles that you're looking for, vary from version of Office to Office. So that's dark list accent. Let's see, colorful shading, colorful grid, medium shading. So if you can't find it, which I'll make sure during the actual test there's one available, really, I just want to make sure that you know how to apply a style. So I'm going to select this one that looks the closest to one that we're using in our sample test, dark list, and there it is. Now, one more thing that you'll notice is that our table is adjusted to fit the size of the text and the phone number. So, if everybody recalls how we adjust the size, we put our cursor on the border between the 2 columns, double click, and it adjusts. Got a little carried away there. The text auto-wrapped for us. It adjusts the size of the columns by double-clicking on the border. That's all it takes to resize the columns so that they fit the text more closely to the size that is needed, so you don't have a big table with a small amount of text in it. Okay? Alright, so that's how to insert a table. Now, let's see. Moving down to our next set of instructions, we want to change the abbreviation for October to the word October. So let's scroll down. We're going to take out the abbreviation, and we're going to type in the word October. Simple enough. Alright, and then we have some more instructions at the bottom here. Number 3 says download the file Daryl State Motto from the website, and actually that's under Blackboard as well. Sample exams, and insert at the beginning of the document. So we're going to flip over. I've got that file downloaded already. We're going to take this motto, going to copy it, and place it at the top of our data file, which is Word. We'll hit enter twice to insert a couple of blank lines. I'm going to paste, that text using a right click and a paste, or a Control V will do the same. And now that motto is at the top of our document. Okay, so we're going to go back to our instruction sheet and continue on with our instructions. Let's see, we're going to change the title, Daryl's Motto, to font size of 18 and font style of Times New Roman. So we're going to flip back over to our data file, highlight that text that we want to change. I'm going to find Times New Roman, which it's here since I've used it recently. It's in the recently used fonts. Otherwise, you can scroll down the list of fonts. They're listed in alphabetical order, and you can find it that way. And I'm going to change the font size to 18. And that's how we adjust the title. So that was number 4. Now we're going to go to number 5. It says underline, italicize, and boldface all headers. Okay, so the headers are going to be these lines of text before each paragraph. Now there's several ways this can be done. I prefer using the line selection method by hovering your cursor into the margin. You see how it turns to the arrow, and then you can click once and it'll select that line. So I want to demonstrate that again. Hover your cursor in the margin, click once, it'll select that line. Now hold down the control key, move down the page, click again, and it selects that second line, that second header. Now, while you're scrolling down the page, do not hold down the control key, or what it will do is it will change the size of the document. As you can see, that's what it does. That's when I hold down the control key, use my mouse wheel, that's what happens. So we don't want to do that. We want to release the control key, scroll down to the next group of headers, hold down the control key, click in the margin, and then click again, let off of the control key so I can scroll down the page, hold down the control key, select that header, select that header, select that header, release the control key, scroll down a little further, select that header, both lines, and release the control key and scroll down, and that's the end of my document. Okay, so now that I've got my header selected, the instructions were to underline, italicize, and boldface all headers. So I can do that right here, bold, italicize, and underline. So now all of my headers have a bold italic font that's underlined. And those features or functions are found on the Home tab in the Font group, bold, italicize, and underline. So if you're not on the Home tab, you won't be able to see those. You'll see some other set of functions. So just make sure that you're on the Home tab when you look for those features. Okay, so that was number 5. Now we're going to move down to number 6. Change the top and bottom margins to 1/2 inch, and the left and right margins to 1 1/4 inch. Okay, so to do this, this will apply to the entire document, so you don't necessarily have to have anything selected. It'll be on the page layout tab. You'll see margins, and you can browse the available margin settings to see if you see one that fits what's being asked. But for this case, we don't. There's one that has the top and left, or top and bottom, actually all 4 margins set to 1/2 inch, but we don't need that. We need the top and bottom set to 1/2, and the left and right set to 1 1/4. So to do that, we're going to have to create a custom margin. You click that feature at the bottom of the page, and then in the top and bottom boxes, we'll type 0.5, tab 0.5. So that's got our top and bottom margins covered. And then in the left and right, we're set for 1 inch right now, as you can see in the text box. So we're going to add a 0.25 there for the left, and we're going to add a 0.25 to the right. And when we hit OK, you can see the text on either side has been pushed in. That's the top or the left and right margin change, and the top and bottom has changed as well. We went from 1 inch to 1/2 inch. And that, again, that's found under the page layout tab, margins, custom margins, and you just edit the margins as instructed in your test instruction sheet. Alright, so we're going to move to, let's see, that was number 6. We're going to move to number 7, double space the entire document. Alright, so to change the line spacing in the entire document, we need the entire document selected. There's two ways to do that. You can start at the top, click the left mouse key, and drag to the bottom, which some people like to do. I personally don't like that method. I like to use the Select All feature, which is Control and A, and that'll highlight everything in the entire document. And you can see all the text is highlighted in the document. So once you've done that, we'll go to the Home tab and we'll look for the line spacing icon, which is found in the paragraph group. Here it is. You can hover over the icon and it'll tell you what it is. Click the down arrow, select 2.0, and that's double spacing the entire document. So the entire document's double spaced. Even the table. You can see they've added an extra line. Okay. Now, we'll deselect our text just by clicking off somewhere. We'll flip back over to our instructions. Let's see, number 7 was double space the entire document. Number 8 asks us to go back and single space the announcement, Daryl begins the electrical program, includes the paragraph. So we'll find Daryl begins the electrical program, which I believe is near the bottom. Right here. We'll start the left of the header. Hold down the shift key, click to the right of the last word in that paragraph. We'll go back to our line spacing icon, click the down arrow, select 1.0 for single space, and now that block of text has been reverted back to single spacing. Alright, so that was number 8. Number 9, change all the words Shelton to your first and last name. So what that's asking us to do is to find every instance in this document where the word Shelton appears and replace that word with our name. Now if you completed your tutorials, you would know that over in the editing box on the Home tab there's a replace feature that asks you to find a word, in this case is Shelton, and we're going to replace with your name. Now you can simply select replace all, and that will go through and replace every instance. Or you can find next, which finds the first instance of Shelton, and then replace. You can do them one at a time. And then once you replace the first instance, the second instance will be highlighted as you can see below, and then you can replace. And it'll keep going until it makes its way all the way through the document. And I'm just moving the text box so you can see. When I click replace, what happens. Let's see, Shelton here, replace, Shelton State, builds ramp into campus, that changes it to my name, replace again. You get the gist. Every time you click replace, it moves to the next instance. Now we can also select replace all, and it'll go all the way through the document immediately, and it'll give you a message that says Word is completed. The search of the document has made 2 replacements. So that's 2 replacements beyond what we replaced by doing it one by one. So now if we were to go through the document now and try to find the word Shelton, we shouldn't be able to find it. So Shelton, find next, no instances. So we replaced them all. That's one way to check yourself. Alright, and that was using the replace feature in the editing group on the Home tab. You can see we're on the Home tab. Alright, so that was number 9. Number 10, we're going to spell check the document. Let's see here. So spell check the document. That's going to be under the Review tab, Spelling and Grammar. We're going to start at the top. The first word it finds is the word ain't, which is not good, which is not proper grammar. So, but it's part of the motto that we input. So we're going to tell spell check to ignore. We're going to move to the next one, and you'll notice that spell check will also find grammatical errors. In this case, there's an extra space after quotation mark. So in that case, we're going to allow it to change it. Let's see, looks like there's also an unneeded space after that quotation mark. We're going to change it. Let's see. Looks like we also have an unnecessary space there. We're going to change. This is proposing a rewording of a sentence. Number of applicants to be nones have. And in this case, we're going to allow it to change that. We also have another unnecessary space. In this case, we look for, we have a misspelled word that looks like it should be the word open. The college has decided to open, so we'll select the word open and change it. Looks like we misspelled the word space, because this is in the paragraph talking about the campus to open a branch in space. So we'll change that word. That looks like the word with was misspelled. We'll change there. So you can go all the way through each one and change it one by one. You can select autocorrect, which will go through and change as well. Let's see. We'll make our way all the way through these. Awarded. There are these misspellings in this document are intentional to allow to demonstrate this feature on the test. So, and when you're done checking the document, you'll get a pop-up box that says the spelling and grammar check is complete. Okay, and lastly, insert a picture of yourself at the end of the document. Let's say you would do that by going to the end of the document. Let's see, selecting or placing your cursor at the very end, selecting insert picture. Let's see, I don't think that I have a photo available to use. Let's see here. I can't do this. Bear with me. We'll go to Shelton State. I will right click and save this image. Once the page finishes loading, it's taking its time. Let's see, right click, save picture. And I would go back over to my, let's see. Yeah, save picture as. We'll go to Documents, Logo. Now we will go back to our sample Word. Our test file. We'll insert a picture from Documents. We'll find our latest one. Logo, insert, and then there's our image. So that's how that works. Now this picture during the test, that will be a picture of yourself. It'll be the same picture that you used for the email assignment for the first week during the first week of class. So I highly recommend that you go through step by step and try to make these adjustments to the Word document or Word data file during the sample test. I think this will give you a pretty good idea of what to expect. The emphasis on the test in this class are being able to actually perform the tasks that are taught in the tutorials. So that's where I would spend my time. I would not spend time learning definitions or necessarily studying PowerPoints. You won't need to know any type of information like that. It will be how to perform the functions. So if just to review what we talked about, we learned how to, or we discussed how to insert a header. The boxes here, you learned how to move text around, edit text. We insert a new section, learn how to delete text. We deleted another section. Inserting a table will be important. Auto sizing this table to fit the text will be very important. Applying a style will be very important by selecting the table and then going to the Design tab and finding a style. It'll be as will be instructed on the test. Let's see. That's more editing text. And then the last several questions were inserting text, changing the font size and font style, knowing how to italicize, underline, and boldface text, changing margins, double spacing, how to adjust line spacing will be important. More line spacing with the single space of that announcement. Let's see, changing the word Shelton to your first and last name. That we did that using the replace feature. Spell check. Whoops. Spell check, that's located under the review tab, spelling and grammar, and then inserting a photo, which is on the insert tab under picture. So those are some of the main concepts. Really anything that was covered in the tutorials is fair game for the test, and that'll be the case all throughout the semester. So that's where I would spend my time preparing, is making sure I know how to perform those tasks that are covered in the tutorial. I hope this video provides you with a little help, and I highly encourage you to take time to perform the sample test yourself to make sure that you prepare for the test. And I'll post this video to Tegrity, and it'll also be posted to YouTube. Thanks.